Hi, I'm Mary Roycroft, and I'm an elementary school counselor at Ward Elementary School in Winston-Salem. You know, John Maxwell once said that leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. My educational leadership philosophy is centered on the belief that putting others first, sharing leadership roles, and helping others to do their best in all situations is the essence of successful leadership. Whether speaking of colleagues, students, or parents, the goal should be to seek first to understand and serve others, and then work collaboratively on shared goals for achievement and instruction to develop a positive school climate in which all can grow and thrive. Because 21st century students will be this country's future leaders, it's imperative that all educators strive to help all students succeed academically, personally and socially, and with their post-secondary pursuits. We must finally make good on the American promise to make education available to all on equal terms so that every member of this society can realize a productive life and contribute to this country's future. Failure is not an option. I believe that learning is lifelong and that all students can learn and reach their highest potential if given the right learning environment. To do this, it's the responsibility of all educators as part of the educational community to provide wraparound support for all students, especially those who are marginalized. The American dream should not be elusive to any student. Today's students face a more diverse set of challenges than perhaps ever before in history. Research has shown that changes in family structures, parenting styles, community composition, and socioeconomic status are negatively impacting many young people nationwide. Especially in North Carolina, as in other states across our nation, there's a growing performance gap between low-income and high-income schools. This gap is ever widening between the rich and the poor, and in fact, the income achievement gap is now twice as large as the black-white achievement gap. High-poverty classrooms and schools are much less effective at providing quality instruction to students because of the enormous focus given to academic, attention, and behavioral problems. As a result, school climates need to change. As a future leader, I'll work to ensure that my school district sets high expectations and makes learning a rewarding experience for students. Students, parents, and guardians should not only feel welcome in schools, but feel that they have a vested interest in their children's learning community. In addition, I'll work very hard to minimize the impact of income barriers that prohibit a majority of students from participating in extracurricular activities. Data has shown where a given difference in family incomes now corresponds to a 30 to 60% larger difference in achievement than it did for children in the 1970s. Extracurricular activities help students learn the value of teamwork, discipline, and positive social skills. Finally, highly capable, experienced teachers who are committed to helping diverse students excel must be recruited and retained to help foster this positive school climate where students can succeed. While these are not easy solutions, they are necessary ones. If we do nothing, then students of high-income schools will continue to do better academically and in the workforce, thus producing an even greater unequal and economically polarized society. So we must act, and we must act quickly.
Hi, I'm April Hill. I'm a senior administrator in Wake County Public School System. I have served as a principal in Wake County. I have also served as an assistant principal in Wake County, and I have served as a teacher, elementary teacher, in Durham Public School System. I have always enjoyed working in education. In fact, I have always been in any field that is directly or indirectly tied to teaching and learning. My purpose in education? Well, I think back to the 1980s when I got the question quite often about what I wanted to do when I grow up. And often when I got that question, it was easy to answer. I knew I wanted to teach, or I knew I wanted to work with students. I knew early on that, it wasn't about me necessarily. I felt that I had to give back to my community. And when I think about this, I think about that song, which might sound a little cliche, but when Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie created that song about we are the world, we are the future, we are the ones to make a brighter day, so let's start giving. I think about what it meant to me to hear that song. I know they meant to give back to a charity, to give back financially, but I also believe that giving back is not just financially. I believe that we give back to our students when we educate them. When we help families who are poor, we help families who are in need. When we give back to students to show them what they can do in their future, be a mentor to them, that is how I believe we are part of the world and how we can give back. And so that is one of the reasons why I have stepped into education. And that really is my driven purpose, to help others. When I think about my personal mission statement, it's about inspiring and motivating others. It's about to inspire and empower, to inspire others to want to do better. I think about helping others similar to what I heard about or read about when I read Our Kids by Robert Putnam. When he spoke about our kids and the American crisis, I could relate to those stories for the students. I think it's very helpful to inspire students to want to do better. When we can encourage students to reach their goals, they are inspired to do better. They're inspired to be in your classroom. They want to be there. When you help them to see their real purpose and you help them be intrinsically motivated. And that's what I really desire to do, is to continue to support students and help teachers in any way I can in the field of education. One of the leading issues confronting schools today is that there is still an achievement gap in education. Some educators are working hard to close this gap by focusing on changing the academic programs and changing teaching practices. One way that I believe that we can address this concern is really to get to know our students, learn and understand their barriers, and inspire them to do better. Like myself, I overcame some barriers, such as coming from a home with two parents who did not go to college. My dad graduated from high school, but always spoke about how difficult it was for him to learn to read and write. To this day, my dad's strengths are not reading and writing. He was able to get through the system with some basic education, but he wasn't inspired to go to college. My grandfather was so talented that he helped my dad to learn the training that he needed to be a carpenter. My dad built a fairly successful career by working as an employee for the Brunswick County school system in Brunswick County, North Carolina. My mother barely worked, as her full-time responsibility was staying at home, cooking, cleaning, and making sure that we were taken care of. As a young child, I knew that my parents believed in me and they had great hopes for my future. There are so many students that have similar situations, and it's my responsibility to be there to support them and make sure that they know that someone like myself is in their corner and that someone like myself cares for them. It's important that students know that someone believes in them, and that's what I believe it's all about. What is my philosophy of leadership? As a leader, I believe it's important to gain the trust in the community. As Nordhaus mentioned in his book, it is important to consider the trait approach. Characteristics such as integrity and determination are important characteristics for a leader, and I believe I exemplify those characteristics. Although I can be a soft-spoken leader, someone who's in the background, not always front and center, I certainly believe it's important to have people around me who know that I trust them too. I believe that leadership is not a one-man show or my way or the highway. I believe it's about respecting and valuing others and listening to the thoughts of others. As a leader, I can relate to the situational leadership style, since there are times when I believe it's important to be a coaching and supporting leader. Since I'm passionate about mentoring and coaching, I like being in a position where I'm seen as a person who wants another person to do well. The more we know each other, the better we are in meeting the academic needs of the world. We are the future. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So it's important for us to support each other and work together in order to achieve our academic goals.
I'm Miah Hart-Olivis. I serve the students of Durham Public Schools as coordinator of multi-tiered systems of support at Creekside Elementary School. I'm a coaching instructional leader with strong beliefs in authentic relationships to support student learning and community. I hope to revitalize the image of education and update the positive views of teaching and learning from our past. When discussing leadership, Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu described the best leaders as those who were virtually invisible. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, "We did it ourselves." The most valuable components of leadership today revolve around the ability to cultivate leadership for tomorrow. Learners in every realm need a means to apply what they learn to authentic products in their lives. Having the knowledge and theoretical preparation is useless without an explicit network of supports and supporters to achieve a goal related to what students learn. And this concept is where motivation truly lies. In a TED Talk about what motivates us to work, Dan Ariely suggests that students who are not rewarded in any way, regardless of aptitude, will put forth less effort when they perceive their work as futile. Students need the permission not only to set a goal, but to see benefits of these steps along the way as they seek to attain them. The strongest leaders are confident enough that they can relinquish the control of a learner's direction as a means to giving that learner ownership to lead in their respective area. Our society, over recent generations, has gotten the impression that education is less valuable than it once was. As scholars ceased to be the innovators in society, they were replaced by less scholarly figures who led in non-academic fields. It is important to take note of this phenomenon in education because rather than resisting it, educational leaders should investigate and exploit its roots. Unfortunately, popular culture would make it appear that education was minimally necessary in our most lucrative fields, but quite the opposite is true. The success individuals are having in technology stems from the curiosity of students who took their authentic questions into problem solving. The most successful athletes study and practice areas based not only on the drive to emulate what they have seen in their leaders, but also to improve it. Certainly, our society's most potent media personalities have learned to exploit the very sociology of our nations to develop images that sell. In North Carolina and the United States as a whole, educators are behind in affirming and celebrating this shift. Right now, we are perhaps teaching the way we wish we had been taught in past generations, with an equity lens, but I assert that the time for our own implementation has nearly passed. The legacy of this generation of educators should be the development of a stronger set of leaders to contribute to a global citizenry. Our current focus is what we can prove we've taught students, but should shift to what they can teach themselves and others as the future leaders. Strong leadership is viral. It has threads so expansive that they remain with the followers after the original route is no longer discernible. In order to follow, a mutual trust is necessary. Trust that we will head toward a common goal that benefits all stakeholders involved. In my opinion, educational leadership is best supported by actual educators who understand the concepts that help others learn. An educational leader remains a teacher forever, although the student body looks different at every venue. Where the teacher's class learns in a classroom, the superintendent's class is the executive leaders who shape the educational experience for the students in the district by implementing policy. As an aspiring leader, I hope to empower learners to use what they know for the betterment of others who need similar routes to learning it and using it. In my experience, I've been curious, pursued a wealth of knowledge, and nearly burst at the seams to share, but failed to become the permitted voice. Our next generations should not have to beg for exclusive allowance to make a difference as those in the past, and certainly not for the same historical reasons. Where our society has previously based its definitions of the elite on gender, race, prescribed experience, socioeconomic status, and the like, I challenge the next generations to use the criterion that truly matters: power to positively impact.
My name is Lauren Fields, and I'm a third grade teacher at Hopewell Elementary School in Randolph County. Today, I would like to discuss leadership through my eyes. It was once stated that leadership is about capturing the imagination and enthusiasm of your people and clearly defining goals that cut through like a fog in the night. This statement shows that as a leader, I value liberty, giving authority to citizens over schools because they are the stakeholders that influence and are affected by our schools. Leaders must work collaboratively with all stakeholders in order to meet the goals in an organization. Also, goals must be clearly defined so all individuals in an organization will understand the vision for their district. Goals that are vital in an educational setting focus on 21st century skills so students will be prepared for a global society. Through the value of fraternity, I believe that all students need to be equipped for a global society. Thus, it is the responsibility of schools to teach and instruct students how to thrive in a multicultural society. In education, I also value equity. Kloski talks about equity and the importance of giving an equal educational opportunity to all of our students. As a leader, I believe that schools should give an equal access to resources in order for all students to be successful. Excellence is a necessity in education, which I believe is important, and it is very important for teachers to give high expectations for all students so they can achieve high standards. Students can reach these high expectations if they are shown how by those educating them. I believe that all students can learn and that learning is a lifelong process. As a leader, I will motivate my staff by giving them a voice of how we can collaborate in order to meet the needs of all students. Schools were created in order to give all students the chance to learn and grow as individuals. In North Carolina, our schools should prepare students for globally competitive, effective citizenship. There is no way for citizens to be effective if they have no form of education. Students unlock all types of doors through education, and individuals can pursue their dreams for a productive future through learning. Schools are of the utmost importance, and as an effective leader, I will behave in a way that shows that all things we do in education is for student success. I will encourage all employees to value education as the #1 priority to get students out of poverty and to give them a brighter future. My philosophy of leadership is that leaders should lead by examples and in a way that others would want to follow them. A leader should not have followers due to their skills alone, but also through respect and trust they gain from their followers. People should choose to follow them due to the agreement with their leader's philosophy. I desire for people to follow me because I treat others with respect and value their input. I feel that I display the distributed leadership approach to leadership because I try to engage all people within the leadership activity. Distributed leaders share the responsibilities of leadership among all stakeholders. All people involved in the organization use their skills to bring about effective change and innovation for that organization. I do not want to be viewed as a figurehead leader, but as one part of the team that distributes the vision and the mission of the organization. I want to work collaboratively to solve problems and work to develop excellence for my organization, which is what leaders should do. In this way, all stakeholders should be engaged in a team effort to ensure success in their district. All voices need to unite in order to meet the individual needs of all of our students. Also, authentic leadership is important to my personal leadership philosophy. Authentic leaders are trusted by their followers. Northhouse discusses this when he says that authentic leaders understand their purpose, they have strong values about the right thing to do, they establish trusting relationships with others, they demonstrate self-discipline and act on these values, and they are passionate also about their mission. My purpose is clear as a leader, and through trust and leading through example, I will always strive to be authentic with all stakeholders in my district. My personal mission statement will be to strive to serve all stakeholders in providing a comprehensive, individualized, rigorous, and authentic educational experience for all students. This will require a classroom environment that is welcoming for every student regardless of their background. Students in all classrooms should participate in hands-on learning activities requiring critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Students should work in learning teams to enhance communication among them with people that are different than themselves. All teachers should be passionate about reaching their highest potential in order to educate all students to achieve these goals as well. The main issue that is confronting schools today is the gap that is growing between students of privilege and students of disadvantage. Putman found that while race-based segregation has been slowly declining in our society, class-based segregation has been increasing. This means that the socioeconomic issues facing students today impedes their learning and their future. As educators, we need to be aware of this gap and address this issue head-on. Knowing about the issue is one thing, but something needs to be done. As a leader, I will educate others to combat this problem of growing class-based issues facing our kids. I will engage all community stakeholders to assist in this issue. Putman discusses an organization called the Coalition for Community Schools, which concludes, a community school is both a place and a set of partnerships between the school and other community resources. Its integrated approach focuses on academic, health and social services, youth and community development, and community engagement, which leads to student learning. I want to engage the community to develop more organizations like this to help those from lower socioeconomic backgrounds in order to decrease this gap that has developed in America. We need to focus on the whole child, and these organizations and programs and all members being involved in the community will unite to aid in this process. I plan to educate schools and the community to lead this issue with our kids so that they know the struggles that people are facing and that our students are facing. Together, we can try to take these children that are in poverty and make them different and not a part of the statistics.
Hi, we thank you for listening to our presentation. I am April. This is Mary, Miah, and Lauren. And we are Hardcore 4, High Point University doctoral students. And we've shared with you our philosophy of education, our mission, our value, and our purpose in education. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.